Hi, everyone. Welcome off our stream for the last 2 weeks because we've been very busy. But this week we are back and we have an amazing experience to talk about. So, with me today are our AIM Infant Toddler team. So, Nancy McNabb, who's our AIM Infant Toddler Level Coordinator, and Courtney Reed, who is our AIM Infant Toddler Assistant Level Coordinator. And I wanted to have them on today because last month they traveled to Vietnam together to train infant toddler teachers in Hanoi. And it was such a cool thing to be a part of from a distance because every morning I would wake up to their WhatsApp notifications of like what they've been doing and pictures. And it was so exciting to feel as though I was somewhat a part of it. So today I'm excited to hear more about that experience and just what you came away from it with. And Nancy, I know that was your second time in Vietnam, but Courtney, that was your first. So I'm very excited just to hear about your adventure. So anyone who's watching on any of the streams, you can feel free to ask questions in the comments or post comments, and we'd be happy to answer them. I'm going to post some pictures in the comments of their adventure, but I'm going to go ahead and let Nancy and Courtney sort of take it away and tell us a little bit about their trip to Vietnam.
Great. Well, we are excited to talk about it. Thank you for the opportunity, Carolyn. You know, to be able to travel literally across the world to share our love and our passion for Montessori was truly, it was heartwarming. It was just exciting and it was fun, but it was also a really deep experience for us to be able to connect with the adult learners over there. We had 18 students or learners in our course. And as Carolyn said, this was the second time that I went. Last year, I had the pleasure to go with our course founder, Mary Ellen Mons, and we taught for 8 days. So to do the residency, which is part of our certification course, we are required to teach 15 days. So we broke it into two parts. We did 8 last year, and you know, everything was new. It was just, it's so far away. The people are different. The city is huge. I live in Bozeman, Montana. Courtney's in Tennessee, so we're kind of small town people. And the city of Hanoi is so loud, so many people. There are like 11 million people just in Hanoi, and about 8 million of them drive motorbikes. So it's very noisy. I think my overall impression was just that it's such a noisy city. And wouldn't you agree, Courtney? It was just so different than what we're used to.
It was very, very different. The city was beautiful. I loved everything about it, being in a different environment and learning the culture. And I wouldn't call it culture shock because it was very enjoyable for me. We really enjoyed eating lots of sushi together and exploring the bubble teas and all the things. So we were hosted by really great people, and the city was a place that I will go back to.
The people were extraordinary. You know, they are so kind, so loving and welcoming. Each time they met us at the airport with flowers and hugs, and we just felt connected to them immediately. The people from the training center are just lovely, and they are committed to really spreading the Montessori message and method throughout Vietnam. And they have, I think, 8 or 10 schools in Hanoi. And then some of our learners who were at our course both times, they have a number of schools also. Some of them were managers or directors of centers throughout Vietnam that had like 8 different locations. And we asked the students to bring slideshows of their environments in their towns and in their schools. And we were very impressed by them. They were beautiful. You know, some of them are new to Montessori, but some of them have been studying and sharing and implementing Montessori for a number of years. So, as I said, we went 8 days last year. We finished with 7 days this year. And these 18 people received a certificate of attendance, kind of like a diploma, and they are all about ceremony. So we would teach every day, and in our teachings, we would share some of our online course, which is just rich and deep with Montessori's teachings and the perspective of how to implement our method with infants and toddlers. And it's so much more than, you know, babysitting, changing diapers or wiping noses. It is really connecting with the very young children at an age when they're so sensitive, when they're just building trust in the environment and in us as in people. So, we feel like our work is foundational work to all future learning, that these little ones who are in the absorbent mind are just so ripe and so ready and in need of this method. So we were delighted to share it. To apologize.
There was so many photos that you sent. There were so many photos that you sent that had just so much joy emanating from them, from the students and from yourself and from the staff at Soul. So I feel like it looked like everyone was very connected despite the language barrier, despite the differences, and that you really were giving them that foundation that they needed. So it was a beautiful thing to see.
It was. The people were so interested, and they were just desiring more. Every time we came back together, there was another question, there was another thought. Their thought processes are so deep. So we connected on that deeper level of teaching rather than just that surface, which was really fantastic.
So every day we would do a little teaching. We had quite a bit of information to share. We covered some deep topics, everything from child development to the work of the child, the lessons that we as teachers give, how we prepare the environment, how we connect the children to the environment, and how we really build those deep relationships with the children. So in doing this with our adult learners, we shared and then they shared. And we got down on the floor together and we gave lessons to each other. And we had baby dolls. The whole first course, we really focused on the infant years. And I brought my baby Tommy with me and showed how we talk to Tommy and how we love him so much, how we use our mouth to communicate and our eyes and our face and our hands, how we do, everyday caregiving, changing diapers and feeding them and helping them to become independent. And those are the things in our course. More than just giving lessons, we are really building the relationship with the children and building their trust. Because what's happening in the first 3 years is they are developing the personality. And so we are helping them to become self-confident, to be able to be independent, and to separate from their primary caregivers. And so we're helping the adult learners to learn how to really deeply go into their connection with the children. And so our students who are so loving and so passionate about Montessori really love doing those practice sessions and talking to each other, talking to their baby dolls, and getting on the floor and doing the work with the children. It was a lot of fun and meaningful to witness.
The role plays were a very fun part of our day. It kind of broke up the lectures. It gave them time to interact with each other because all of them didn't know each other. It gave Nancy and I time to see each other teach and how we would be with children. Even though we didn't have any children there to interact with, we still had those lessons and those moments of togetherness that really just brought it all together. But the interactions were always so fantastic.
And that's another thing. Oh, sorry, Nancy, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
That was so impressive about this adventure is that you two had never met in person before.
Right.
So to be able to see how you were with the baby dolls, I'm sure was really telling because you obviously have worked together and spent time together online, but to be together in person was probably a really powerful thing for the two of you as well. So.
Yes, we literally met at the Minneapolis airport and flew across the ocean together, a very long 12-hour flight. So we did have time to connect. And what I found with Courtney and other people who I've met throughout the United States and the world who are Montessorians is we speak the same language, literally the language of Montessori, but also the language of love for the child. And so it seems like, and we felt this with the students over there too, we had that language barrier. We had to have a translator. So every few sentences we would stop and she, who is a very skilled and wonderful translator, would say the words, in Vietnamese. And then if they had a comment back, she would say them back to us in English. So we had this, relationship going on across the language barrier. But what we found is that the connections were deep because they are heart to heart. And that is what Montessori is based on. It is truly the education of the heart and helping the child to also to connect to their inner teacher and, that voice within that's guiding them, that's helping them to form. So, in that sense, we all spoke the same language.
I love that. That's a beautiful way to put it.
And we also managed to have some fun. So this was Courtney's first international trip. So of course she got to go on 2 tours. We went together the first weekend. We saw the city of Hanoi. It's very big. There is an old quarter and an old French quarter. So we got to visit some things there and see, some of their architecture and some cultural experiences, including their water puppet show that they are known for. And that was fun. That was exciting to watch. What did you love about the city, Courtney?
I really enjoyed the food. The variety of fruits and fresh food that they eat so often is just immaculate. It was nothing but wonderful.
And then the second weekend, having been in the noise and the commotion of the city traffic for the whole first week and the first weekend, the second weekend we were fortunate and took a boat cruise along the beautiful Halong Bay, which if you've ever seen, you know what I mean. It's just so spectacular. The views are incredible. And there, the difference is that it's so peaceful and quiet, except for the hum of the boat motors. There is no noise out on the bay. And that was truly a lovely experience too.
It looks gorgeous and just somewhere I can't imagine being able to go to in person. So I'm so glad that you got to take that weekend away and
that was
enjoy
rich.
The country and see more than just the city. So
the other thing I wanted to mention is that we gave the students a final assignment for this 15-day residency course, and it was for them to choose. They had to pick, a stage of development from birth to age 36 months. And they worked together in teams of 2 or 3 people. And they had to discuss that phase or stage of development. And then they had to act it out of how they would read to a child, sing to a child, hold the child, care for the child's basic needs, give a lesson to the child. And they did great. They're very detail oriented over there. So their notes were meticulous. They took down like practically every word that we had taught. So they really understood. And so some of them will be able to share this with teachers in their school and, to really continue to spread what we at AIM brought to share. And then they showed us how they would work with the child during that stage of development. It was excellent. They did a phenomenal job on that.
That's amazing. And again, something that you can see, like the hearts and the care and the confidence that they had beyond the language barrier, that they're able to actually display their knowledge that they've gained from the course and from your teaching. So what a beautiful thing. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. It's wonderful to know that what we have gained, all of the wisdom and the knowledge that we have received from Maria Montessori through our trainers, that now we have been able to internalize and now we can share with others, that is the legacy of Montessori, that it will continue throughout the world in, hundreds of thousands of schools. And mostly that it will help those children in whatever country they live, whatever culture that they are growing up in, to spread that love and that message of peace and of connection and of relationships from the heart. I guess that's really our hope, is that we can make a difference in the world, one child at a time, one teacher at a time, one training course at a time. So it's kind of a deep journey, and labor of love from our hearts to those of us, to those of you who want us to come and share with you, which of course we'd love to do.
I love that you two got to take this journey together and bond through this experience. And, that's something we at AIM are really, really dedicated to is going where people need us. And we're a nonprofit, so we're always trying to truly fulfill our mission of spreading Montessori's philosophy and wisdom anywhere we can. So that is why we go to Vietnam. We offer partial scholarships to all the students who study with us there. And we do have a scholarship fund. We accept donations. If anyone wants to support that global Montessori education, we also have a lot of other plans moving forward for this year. We're going to be in Sweden. We're going to hopefully go back to South Africa. We're hoping to get to some countries in Central America or Latin America soon. So we are dedicated to this, and we're thankful that we have faculty like you that are willing to travel and willing to spread your knowledge and willing to take the time and the energy to go to these places and, impart what you know about Montessori to more people. So thank you so much for all the work you do.
Well, it is truly a privilege and an honor to be able to represent AIM and to be able to do this. And, these teachers were so appreciative. It's just gratifying to hear their words, some of them crying as they're saying how much this course changed them, that it was a transformation of them as a person. And that means so much to us to be able to be a catalyst of that change and to help them to understand what Montessori really is at the deep level of, the education of the heart and helping the spirit of the child to be nurtured as well as the physical body. So it's gratifying and we love it. I think we'll be doing it again, Courtney.
We will be.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. Well, I will post some pictures on the comments so that people can see some of these experiences and some of the students that you worked with. I'll do that right after this, but I will let you two get back to your days. I know Courtney has to go back to her classroom. Probably nap time is over soon, right? So
nap time is just beginning.
Oh, well, that's good. I'm sure you have work to do. So thank you both for taking the time to talk with me today and share this experience. And if anyone has questions about the work we're doing in Vietnam or anywhere else, feel free to post a comment and we'll get back to you and let you know all the information we have to share about it. But otherwise, we'll see you next week. And thank you so much, ladies. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week.
You too. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.